I did give myself the objective of being more reasonable this month. And somehow this is the result. Am I a mood reader? Yes. Do I still do those monthly TBRs? Also yes. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Valerie, and today, as I like to do at the beginning of every month, let's build my TBR for the month of April. So I've selected some books from my actual physical TBR, which has over 100 books that I feel that I could want to read in April. Listen, my track records with those monthly TBRs is not that great. I still love to do them, so let's get into it. So we are going to go over each of them together. Some I do remember what they are about, some not so much. I just remember like vibes or the themes. But let's go over them, and please let me know if you've read any of these and with which one I should start first. And you will see where I don't make sense and how I am totally unable to make choices in life. Because normally I do read approximately like an average of 10 books a month. And this TBR definitely has way more than 10 books. But it's a great selection depending on the mood I will be in. And I also want to preface this by saying that in some of these books, there are dark romances. So beware if you're not familiar with dark romances. For each of the books that I will say that are dark, please check the trigger warnings to know if it's going to be for you. Okay, so first book, Ahah by Tomforde. This was in my previous TBR last month, and I really need to get to it. I'm very curious. I hear more and more people talk about it, so I want to read it. It's a sports romance. It's about a hockey player and a flight attendant. And yeah, that's it. I don't know anything else. But I'm very excited. I'm also bringing these back from my March TBR. So we have King of Wrath by Huang. The second book in the series, I think, is King of Pride. It's coming out at the end of April, so I'd like to get on the train when the second book is going to be out and be on date with the new releases. I really love her previous series, the Twisted series. I heard great things. I don't know why I haven't read this one yet. So yeah, I'd like to read this one. Then we have Stronger Than Gold by Joan Harding. I did read the two previous books and liked them. And when this one came out, I don't know, I just wasn't in the mood right when it came out. I bought it and it's been sitting there for, I think, 2 months. It's a dark fantasy, spicy romance. And I have to say I am intrigued to know where the story goes. So I have no excuses of why this is still on my TBR. And I hope that this month is gonna be a win. And I'm gonna read this one. But then again, we'll see. And I'm also bringing back this book. It's a French book. I'm trying slowly to get back into French books. I'm from Quebec, Canada. My first language is French, if my accent isn't clear enough. But I've been reading in English for a couple of years, and I slowly want to get back to French authors that are from here to support them. So yeah, I have a bunch of French books on my TBR that I want to get to, and this is the first one that I've chosen to start this whole thing. And this is a buddy read I want to do with my friend Natasha, so we need to schedule that and make it happen. But I'm excited. She's an assassin. I think it's kind of dystopian society kind of book. And I don't remember anything else other than that. And in this society, there's no technology. So it's called L'Imparfait Assassin by Lydia Lagarde. And I'll let you know at the end of April if I finally got to it. And I have 2 other challenges that I want to tackle every month. There was the challenge that I call broadening my reading. So it's either reading more from authors that are from here in Quebec or kind of vary a bit the genres I read. I was leaving it very flexible because I didn't know for sure how I wanted to broaden my reading, but I wanted to do it. So I have this French book and I also have this book here. And I think this is a thriller. Let me know if I'm wrong. I think it's a thriller. So it's the Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I've seen this everywhere from people that do read thrillers. I heard really great things, and this was lent to me by a friend that is slowly getting back into reading. I've been hooking her with romances, and she lent this one to me. So I thought, well, this is my chance to read something else than romance. So this will maybe happen in April. I make no promises at this point, but I'm intrigued. I read thrillers a while ago, and I do enjoy that genre. I just never reach out for it. But now that I have one on my TBR, it may happen. So yeah, and another challenge that I give myself every month is the 12 Friends Book Recs in 12 months challenge. I always have a hard time saying it. Normally you select 12 friends and each of them select a book for you to read. So you read one friend's recommendation every month. Since I'm on a kind of book buying ban right now, and I didn't have 12 book friends to ask, I kind of tweaked it a bit, and some of these friends selected 2 books. One that they could choose any book that they wanted, and another book that was from my physical TBR. And since my physical TBR is over 100 books, and I'm not gonna read all of them this year, it made sense, like they just prioritized one book on there that they wanted me to read. So this month, the book I chose for that challenge is the Mindf series by St. Abbey. This was recommended by my friend Natasha, the same one that I want to do a buddy read with this month. I heard so many great things and I wanted to read this for so long, but I never got to it somehow, and now that my friend has recommended it to me, I'm really happy and I'm really excited to start this. So if you don't know about this is dark. I think she's kind of a serial killer and is the employee in the FBI who is kind of trying to identify who the serial killer is, and I think they're in a relationship. But don't take my word for it. I don't really remember. I just remember that it's dark, and I think there's a revenge plot in there somewhere. So this copy here is the omnibus. It contains the 5 novellas or 5 short novels of the series. And you can say that this is going to be probably the only one in all of these that we can be sure that I'm gonna read, because I've been liking this challenge so far and I've been acing it. And I love that these are recommendations from my friends. So this will be read, and I'll let you know how I feel about it. And my third monthly challenge was to continue and finish series that I have on my shelf. Because what happens is that sometimes I start a series and then I don't continue it. Sometimes it's because there are standalones in a series and I want to change mood, so I don't continue with the following books. Sometimes it's that the following books weren't out yet, and when the book came out, I bought them but never got to it. So now I have accumulated many unfinished series on my shelf. It's kind of a disaster, and I don't know why. It's never those that I really want to read because they aren't new. I don't know, and often it's books and series I really like. It's just that it's not new, so it doesn't have the appeal of a new book. So I gave myself the challenge this year to every month at least read one book from those unfinished series. So I don't necessarily have to finish the whole series, but I have to read one book from those unfinished series that I have yet to finish. So there was Stronger Than Gold that I showed you before. That is one of the unfinished series that is sitting on my shelf, but I also want to add this one. So it's the Followaway series by Penelope Douglas. I love their writing so much, and I love the first 2 books. I don't know why I never continued. I have no excuse, but they are standalones, so I feel that I can kind of prolong the pleasure and just read one at a time. That's my excuse, at least. So the books I have to finish are Rival, Falling Away, and The Next Flame. It contains the 2 last novellas of the series, A Flame and Next to Never. I've been really enjoying this series so far. It's dark, new adult, and I'm kind of really hoping to get back to this world and these characters. So I wish that I'm going to read these in April. At least one of them. Okay, and at this point, I think I selected way more unfinished series than I thought I had. If I don't tackle that challenge this month, I have no excuse because I have so many right now unfinished series that are here on the pile. We have here the Zodiac Wolves, the Lost Pack series. I have the last 2 books to read. I read the 2 previous books this past month. It's because I did enjoy that series, but it was not amazing. It was okay, it was fun, but I still bought these, so I don't want to waste them. I want to finish them. They're not so bad. It's Suncrust and Zodiac Align. It's by Elizabeth Briggs. I do hope that these books bring something new to kind of get me back to them. And I want to add that they read pretty fast. So this is another reason that I haven't given up yet, because if not, I would have DNF, but they read pretty fast, so that encourages me to finish them. And if I let them sit on my shelf for too long, I'm never gonna read them. So I better get to them earlier than never. Another unfinished series that has been sitting on my shelf, but in my excuse, I just got these this last month, and I read the first book I think 2 months ago, so it hasn't been sitting there for too long. And the 4th book in the series is coming out soon, so that's why I want to prioritize this a bit. So it's the Sinners Anonymous series by Sam Sketcher. It's a dark mafia romance. The first book is called Sinners Anonymous. I adored it. It's about one couple specifically. These 2 books, Sinners Condemned and Sinners Consumed, are about one couple. So the couple gets 2 books in this. We follow these 3 brothers that are in a mafia organization, and I did love these characters very much, so I'm excited to see where this goes. So this is also kind of a certainty I promise I will read this. Mark my word. Okay, and my last book in my unfinished series that I've selected for this month is Addicted for Now by Kristen Beccarici in the Addicted series. I read the 2 previous books and I adored them. I really love their writing. And it's the last book in the first part of the series because after that I'm going to go in the Calloway Sisters series to read the 2 books about one specific character, like one couple. And I'm waiting for the new editions to come out because I want them to all fit together. And I think that Kiss the Sky is coming out next month. Or the month after that. Don't take my word for it. So I will maybe read this month. Or I will wait for the next 2 books to come out and read them together. Anyway, if you don't know about it, it's about addiction, 2 best friends that develop a love relationship. And you get to know a bit about their friends, the female main characters' sisters. It's a whole found family feeling. All of these characters are amazing. You fall in love with this world and with these characters. I just love them so much, and I want to say I haven't read anything like the series ever. The type of writing, the type of relationship, the way the love story is told, it's so unique. I love it. It's not a super fast pace, but it's captivating the whole way. I don't know how to express this, but it's a unique series. I'm addicted. So yeah, I'm putting it there and I want to savor it and I'm excited to get to it, but at the same time I don't know if I'm really gonna get to it this month. We'll see. This will maybe be back in my May TBR if I haven't read it this month. Another book from an unfinished series. Okay, I didn't know that I selected so much. I kind of was joking earlier, but I really did select a lot of them. This is from the Witchwalker series by Carissa Weeks. City of Ruin, it's the 2nd book. The 3rd book just came out recently. This is an adult fantasy romance, and I've been curious to continue the series. I liked the 1st book. I didn't like it as much as I wanted to, but at the same time, I liked it enough to continue, and I'm kind of apprehensive because I want it to get even better. It needs to get better than the 1st book, because if not, I'm not going to continue. So I'm a bit apprehensive, but at the same time, I'm excited. And as for the other series, I need to get to it sooner than later, because if not, I feel that it's gonna stay there for a long while. So tell me if you've read this. Tell me something to convince me to get right to it, please. Next, from the same friend that lent me, what was it called? The Housemaid by Freida McFadden. I got the fine print by Lauren Asher. I've been wanting to read this for so long. I've heard so many great things about the Dreamland billionaires. But my story with this author is that I had bought a while ago Throttled by her, and it had been sitting on my shelf for so long. So I wanted to read that one before getting into the series. And when I read it, it was just okay. I think I rated it around 3.5 stars. So it wasn't bad, but it wasn't to the level that I was expecting. So now I didn't know where I wanted to go, if I was to continue that first series or just jump to this one because I've been very curious about that series. But now that my friend lent it to me, the choice is easier, so I'm gonna read this. I hope that I like it better than Throttled because I want to get into the boat with the other people that really like this. Because it looks amazing and it looks like it has all the things that I do like in a book. And I didn't dislike Lauren Asher's writing. Like in Throttle, the main thing is that I didn't connect as much and I didn't feel the romance that much, so it kind of left me neutral. And I'm putting it on my TBR right now because since it's not mine, I want to give it back to my friend as soon as possible, so I need to get to it. Okay, this is way too many books. Next we have Make My Move by J. Bree. So this is kind of the 5th book in the Anna Ford Prep series by J. Bree. I read that series last month. It's kind of a bonus book because it is the story of the 2nd book, but in the main male character's POV. Because that series is told mainly from the female main character's POV, you don't get the main male character's POVs. It's a white shoes, dark, bully romance. I enjoyed this series so much. I ate it up. It was amazing. The interactions between the characters, delicious. So I just feel that in this we're gonna get more of their interactions of these characters and I just want to savor it. So that's why I haven't gotten to it yet. I want to treasure this and really take my time to savor it. So I hope it's good. But so far I haven't been disappointed by J. Bree. And another book that was on my TBR last month that I didn't get to is The Sword by J. Bree. This is a prequel novella to her upcoming series. There were 2 novellas. The first one was The Scepter. I read it already last month, so now I'm ready to get to this one. It's a short one, so there's no reason why I would get to it. Me saying that when it was in my March TBR and I didn't get to it. And the first book in the series comes out at the end of the month, so I will definitely read this one this month. And then we got these 2 books. Okay, listen, I'm on a book buying ban right now and I will do probably another video to explain that challenge specifically because it's kind of a book buying ban, but I call it the book buying restriction challenge because I cannot put myself on a full ban forget it. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna succeed. And I want, you know, to give myself realistic objectives, as we can see with my actual TBR. So I'm on a book buying ban, but I have a couple exceptions to that concept. And the main rule is that I have to read 5 books from my actual physical TBR, and then I can buy myself 1 new book. And I have exceptions for that, which are new releases, special editions, and following books from a series. And this is kind of a purchase that I made in advance from my future completion of another series of 5 books. Is it a cheat? Maybe yes, maybe no. For me, it's just planning. So that being said, I have to complete another series of 5 books before getting into this, and I'm on my second book of that series of 5 right now. But as soon as I complete it, I want to add these to my TBR, and I'd like to read them as soon as possible. This was a recommendation from the Paperback Princess. It's a Omegaverse story. I think it's dark a bit. I don't remember, so check if you want to read them. I think there is pet play in this. And this is one of the things that intrigued me about it. I never read about this. And I love White Shoes very much, but I haven't read a lot of Omegaverse before. I think I've read 1 or 2. So I'm curious to read more of them. And I don't know, the way she talked about it just convinced me. So this series is called Not Their Toy. It's written by A.J. Merlin. First book is Vile Boys, and second book is Wicked Girl. I don't have any other Omegaverse romances on my TBR, so I'm very excited to get to it. This will probably happen this month. And if you have other Omegaverse recommendations, please let me know in the comment. I'm super excited to read more of them. So that's it for the books I have with me right now. There is 2 books that are new releases that I'm waiting to be shipped. I already bought them. There's 6 Scorched Roses by Carissa Broadbent. This is in her Crowns of Naxia world, but it's kind of a novella standalone, and the author recommends that we read it between book 1 and 2. And the second book is coming out also this month, so I want to read it as soon as possible. And then I want to read the second book that is coming out April 14th, The Ashes and the Stalker's King by Carissa Broadbent. The first book was The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I loved it so much. So I'm very excited for the second book. And the second book that I'm waiting on, it's To Flame a Wildflower from Sarah A. Parker. It's the 3rd book in the Crystal Bloom series, and that series, I loved it as much as The Serpent and the Wings of Night. It was very unique. That writing is very poetic. The angst was so good, and the world is still very mysterious. It has a lot of potential, and we're still discovering what it's about. So as soon as it's here, I hope I'm in the mood because I want to read it. And lastly, and for real lastly, well, there are 3 books left on my list. These 3 are new releases, but at the same time they release all at the end of April. And it's a bit funny because they all release at the same time, like the same day. April 27th is gonna be a big day for book releases. So I'm putting them here, but let's be realistic, I'm probably gonna read them in May. But I'm still very excited for them, so I still want to talk about them. First, we have King of Pride by Anna Huang. I talked about it before. It's the second book after King of Wrath. Then we have The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Briggs. This is the beginning of her new series. I will have read the first 2 prequel novellas, so I will be ready for that new release. I'm really curious to see what this author will offer us. I feel this is going to be different from her previous books, so I'm very excited. And we have another book from Carissa Broadbent, Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. This is part of a collaboration series with multiple authors that are all mortal enemies monster romances. I just know that it's by Carissa Broadbent. I need to read all of her books. I also have to read other books from her, but since this one is coming out soon, I'll jump on the train right now. Okay, so that's it. I don't know how many I have. I really did tell myself that I shouldn't put more than 10 books on my monthly TBRs, because I either don't follow them and just choose other books, or I can never achieve what I've set myself to do because it's way too much. Choices are hard. Anyway, let me know if you read any of them, which one you think I should prioritize, or tell me if you're gonna read any of them this month. And I will let you know at the end of the month how I fared with that plan. Thanks again for watching, besties. I love you. Thank you for being here. If you have questions, comments, as always, let me know. I'm always glad to hear from you. As always, if you feel like it, if you liked that video, you know what to do. And I will see you in the next video. Bye!